Welcome to Pulse, where positive actions uplift lives and spark excellence. I'm your host, Paul D. Taylor Sr., and this podcast is dedicated to inspiring growth, developing leaders, strengthening schools, empowering families, and helping people become the very best version of themselves. Each episode features conversations with educators, community leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs, entertainers, and everyday people who are making an extraordinary impact through ordinary acts of excellence. Whether you're a teacher, parent, student, administrator, business owner, or someone pursuing purpose, you're in the right place. So settle in, take notes, prepare to be challenged, encouraged, and inspired. This is Pulse, because excellence isn't an accident. It's the result of positive actions taken every single day. So lean in, listen, learn, lead. Let's get started.
Welcome to the PAULSE Podcast, positive actions, uplifting lives, sparking excellence. Today we have a very special guest with us today, Dr. Keith Sanders, the very newly minted principal at Ponchatoula High School. Welcome, Dr. Sanders.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you, man. So just to get started, we like to do what we call taking your pulse. So we ask three basically short jumpstart questions just to kind of warm us up.
Yes, sir.
What gets you out of the bed in the morning to lead people?
It's really my calling. It's being able to change the lives of young people, old people, being able to influence them. I think that's what keeps me going and keeps me going, thinking about all of the students who I've taught over the years and being able to come and see them and the successes that they've made. It really keeps me pushing towards success.
Question number two. What do you think is the most important part of the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Making people feel that they are valued, appreciated, and respected. I want to be known for that.
And our third warm-up question is rapid fire, man. Normally, these leaders, they take a little while to answer those questions. Like you pretty quick, man. So thirdly, as you going through your leadership journey, like what type of advice would you give to a young aspiring leader who wants to get into any type of leadership capacity?
Stay focused, keep doing the work, be grounded, stay humble, and keep a strong work ethic, build relationships, network. Make sure you show your colleagues that you're willing to go above and beyond, and don't ask anyone to do something that you're not willing to do.
Right, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Well, man, that's a good rapid fire. It really was the first rapid fire, real rapid fire opening segment. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, like where are you from? And, for parents who may be watching the podcast, where are you from and, how did you get involved in education?
So I am a native of Bogalusa, Louisiana, a proud lumberjack. I carry it and I wear it wherever I go. I actually started my teaching career there. I graduated from Ponchatoula High School back in 2004, and I went on to college here in New Orleans, at University of New Orleans, and did my undergrad work. And I came out and was teaching at Ponchatoula High School. I taught there about 3.5 to 4 years, somewhere along those lines, and then I came and started working in the city in New Orleans. I taught at a few places and a charter school here. And then I settled in Tangier Hope Parish, actually teaching at Hammond High School. But I only got 1 year there because my wife's job moved us to Monroe. And we lived there for about 5 years, and I taught up in North Louisiana between Richwood and Neville High School.
Okay, man, I'm from Lutcher, man. Neville. That brings up a bad memory for me back then.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, they came down and it was that night, it rained, sleet, and snowed.
Oh, wow.
A playoff game on our home field, and we were a Corvette, but we were stuck in the mud, man. we had Gavin Webster, Mr. Football, for our quarterback, and Man, it was gonna be a repeat for us.
Uh-huh.
It was gonna be back-to-back championships, and oh man, yeah, never. Yeah, I never. I've tried to forget it, but anytime somebody call that name. So how did you get into leadership in high school?
In high school leadership,
Well,
as
just
administration?
leadership in general, yeah.
Leadership in general, the church is where that kind of started. In our church, they always trained us to be leaders. We learned how to run our own meetings in our youth departments. We learned Robert's Rules of Order and carrying motions and all of that in church. So we were built on that. And then in school, I was always active in extracurricular activities from as far back as I can remember. Junior Beta Club in the elementary school, and then junior high and high school, 4-H, student council, all those things. So it all just kind of led in that trajectory. And I actually started preaching in high school, 10th grade, 15. That's when I preached my first sermon, and we've been carrying that path all along. So it's just always been that way. And the surprising part is I'm really an introverted, quiet person. I like to be to myself, out of the spotlight, in the background working, but things seem to happen that always draw me out to do things that need to be done, because I'm the type I want to make sure that things operate and move effectively. So a lot of times I go and try to make it happen and end up out front for some reason.
Yeah, I too started preaching as a teenager, and yeah, it's been quite a journey. So as a minister, like, what has been some of the greatest challenges that you've had to overcome being in ministry and being in education?
I can't really say that I really had challenges, because those two kind of work hand in hand. I was sharing the other day, I had the privilege to go back home to Bogalusa and speak to their school district for their back to school rally. And I was sharing with them that education and teaching is a calling, just like preaching is a calling. Some people don't realize that, but in order to go through what we go through, get the education, pay the money that we do to come in and work with these young people and shape their lives, it takes a special type of a person. And so I don't think that it's really been any challenges, because of the way I approach it is the same way. Now, I'm also careful to not cross barriers or lines, understanding, the separation of church and state, but also being able to do what I can do. Like, nobody's stopping me from praying in my office before school starts, before I start my day and things of that nature. I'm praying over the decisions that I make as I was in a classroom leading students, or in the campus leading a school. So, but those things really go hand in hand for me, and my leadership style in education. Even when I was in school, they've always been kind of hand in hand, because I did my master's in ed leadership the same time I was doing my Master of Divinity. I don't know, I must have been crazy, but I made it through. But I saw that a lot of the leadership principles that they were teaching, they aligned. It was the same stuff, which kind of helped me to be able to navigate and tie those two things together.
Well, what people don't realize is that Harvard University started as a Sunday school. LSU started as a seminary. So, I mean, like, a lot of folks don't understand that how closely related education is with, Christianity and ministry. But, like you said, education is a service,
right? And
it is a calling, and to be a servant leader, to be a servant, you have to, by nature, be a humble person. And I concur with your notion on that. I wanted to ask you about, you said that you're from Bogalusa, you're a lumberjack. So does that mean that you're an outdoorsman, or you like to go and, they had the
Not
lumberjack?
at all. I'm quite the opposite. That's just the mascot for the school. But as far as me, no, I actually, if you survey my siblings, it's 6 of us. My mom had 6 boys.
Okay.
I was the inside one.
Okay.
I would do their homework while they went outside to do the other work. For me, no, that was not my feat at all. If you talk to Miss Drake and Miss Daniels at the school, they remember a few years ago when I was at Ponchatoula, because this is my second round at Ponchatoula. I started there as an AP, actually in the same role where you are now as the ninth grade administrator. And we had the day where they brought out the animals from out back.
Yeah.
And they had that goat, and that goat went to using the restroom all over the sidewalk, and I was looking like, what in the world is going on? You know, no, that's not me at all.
Yeah, man. So I'm, I grew up in the country area, slightly rural. Not that rural, but it's pretty rural.
Right.
And my uncles brought us up fishing, and I never really was a hunter, but I like to fish and crab and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so let's move into a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of why we're here. We really want to talk about the SPS formula for the school. The Department of Education has given us a new mandate as far as our formula is concerned as to how our grades, our scores for the school are calculated.
Right.
And we want to make sure that we express to the community that the school has not fallen, that we're just having a different metric in how we're looking at everything.
Definitely.
So just give us a background of what you wanted.
Right, yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, because it is going to be a shock for a lot of people in our community, but not just us, across the state, when this new accountability score card drops. And we see, because on the old model, Ponchatoula High is a B, and has been for a while, but in the new model, we're a grade letter lower. We're a C, and really we're barely a C on this new model. It's because the way they grade assessments, mainly, now that's the bulk of the way we're scored. How the students perform on their LEAP test, which would, for us at the high school level, would be the Algebra 1, the Geometry, the English 1, English 2, the Civics, and what am I missing?
Biology.
Biology, yeah.
And U.S. history.
And U.S. history, yeah. So, but that one is phasing out. But the way that we score on that, it used to be the levels were advanced, mastery, basic, approaching basic, and unsatisfactory. Unsatisfactory and approaching basic, we got no points for. We got a certain amount of points, and I forget exactly how many. I think it was 80 for basic, and maybe 100 for mastery, and 150. I know it was 150 for advanced. So you would get a different level of points. So some of those higher points, if you had a good number of advances, could balance out the lower unsats, approaching basics, where we didn't get any points. Now that point system is gone, and it's either you met mastery, whether it's mastery or advanced, or not, and it's the percentage of those students who do so. So that cuts a lot of places where we were able to pick up points on that side. And that now, instead of it being 25% of the letter grade, it's closer to 70% of the letter grade, which is a whole bigger piece of the pie. So when you look at that, I think the state, I know the state was really trying to help us raise the bar, because we would have schools who were A and B schools, much like Ponchatoula and others across the state, who, when you look at their assessment index, that 25% piece of the puzzle, they are F. So when the most important part of your kids being able to pass those assessments, you're an F, but over here you're an A, because the game is rigged. Right. So they're trying to cut that down and to bring us through. So when it comes out, we will be a C, and we need to understand that that is the grade for the work that was done in the previous school year. But truth be told, for the last 3 years, we've been getting this simulated score on the new model, and it's always been a C, but it is steadily increasing. Yeah.
So what do you think are going to be some of the focus areas based on like the new, how we're going to mitigate those new changes?
Right. So definitely we are working harder and digging deeper into reaching our students in those classes that are tested for the LEAP test. We meet weekly as a leadership team. We meet weekly as our instructional leadership team, and all of our teachers in their collaboration meetings meet weekly, to where we're bringing in that student work, we're assessing and seeing, and we're using that data to drive our instruction. Another weak area for us that is a high area on that accountability model is ACT. So we're doing our ACT testing prep classes differently. I am pulling my best teachers, my best English teacher, my best math teacher. We're pulling them and we're pushing them to the students for ACT prep. And they're digging in deep along with the programs that we have purchased as a district to go through to help us increase. Because our average ACT score, I believe, I know for the district, because I saw it in our principals meeting yesterday, the average is a 17.
17.
Yeah. And I think ours is probably right along that same
17,
line.
18.
Yeah, around the 17, 18 range. I think it's more in the 17 range. But in order for us to get credit for the students, is it a 21 or a 20? I think it's a 21.
21.
Yeah. At one point it was a 20, we would be fine. Well, it used to be 18, we can get them and we get some points. But that bar has raised from 18 now to a 21. So we've got to do something to pull it. Now at Ponchatoula High, we do have a number of students who make a 30 or higher. But that's a small number. And before, we would get a certain amount of points if they hit a certain level on that ACT score. And if they scored higher, that would get us more points to offset some of the others, just like it did with the advanced and the masters on the elite. But that is no longer. Now it's back to the same thing, the percent of students who meet the score.
So it means that more students are going to have to achieve mastery.
Yes.
More students are going to have to
hit
achieve
that 21.
That 21. So it's not just relying on the top 10% to carry the school.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to have to do that heavy lifting.
Every tub, as my grandmother would say,
have to sit on his own body.
That's
my
it.
grandmother said the same thing. So I want to also juxtapose that with the importance of attendance, because we could do the interventions with my Alexia, with IXL, we could have ACT prep and pull kids and do all of this and that. But if the students aren't in the building, talk about that.
Then they are not going to be able to get the interventions or the knowledge that they need to be successful. So it is imperative that we have our students in class every day and that they're on time. I would do my part to protect that instructional time so that they're not getting pulled out. We're not interrupting and calling the classrooms for unnecessary things. But we need the parents to bring the kids for them to be in the seats on time at school to do the things that need to be done.
Yeah, I think people kind of, and it's not a Ponchatoula thing. This is like high school students in general are a little casual when it comes to getting to class on time. And why it's important? Because it's a reflection of your professional life.
Exactly.
You know? Coach Tim used to, Tim Detillier, my high school football coach used to say, you're going to play how you practice. And so if high school is practice for the real world.
That's right.
And, I would like for you to talk about how we utilize the educational setting to prepare students for the real world.
That's it. Yeah, so we have to put measures in place and hold our kids accountable, because just like we want them on time for class, when they are outside of our building and they're on their jobs, they got to be on time for work. And when they're not on time for work, that cuts into their paychecks, which hurts their ability to feed their families. And we talk about dress code. Another way, 9 out of 10 places of employment is going to have a dress code that you're going to have to follow.
Yes.
Especially if you go into a professional setting like a bank or something like that. If you come in there and you're not dressed appropriately, you're going home, and it ain't no coming back. You're not going to get paid. You're going to miss money for that day because you chose to come not properly dressed. So the things that we do and put in place are meant to prepare them for the real world to be able to do those things.
Yeah. And see, that's the problem with being in the room with other preachers. They pull stuff out of you before you ask the question. He started answering the question about dress code, and that was my next thing. So I'll give you the next one. The importance of addressing cell phones and really garnering the parents' support
with the cell
for helping us with your student with cell phones and reinforcing the policy and why it's important. Because first of all, it's not just a policy.
It's law.
It's a law.
That's it. Yeah, that's the biggest part. The law is that the students cannot have the phones on our campuses out. And if they're on campus, they must be powered off and put in their bags. And it is best, it alleviates the distraction. Today's society has us all messed up with these phones. I can't go sit out to eat at dinner with my child without her reaching and picking up the phone. And then before you know it, I done picked mine up, and instead of us engaging in conversation like we used to, we're all in phones waiting on the food to come. So it's become a part of our lives, and it becomes a distraction in the classroom. I understand that things happen in the emergencies, but we have phones all over campus. I can't tell you how many phones we got on Ponchatoula High School's campus.
Well, it might be double the number of students because every student got a dummy phone that they turn in or try to turn in.
Then, I mean, even just like, so parents, a lot of times they say, well, our child needs the phone in case of emergency, they can call me. But we have landline phones on our campus.
Yep.
At least 30 of them.
And what you're saying that, I really want to, parents, if you're listening, please unblock the school.
That part.
Unblock the school's number, because when we do have emergencies, if we can't reach you through your child's cell phone, or because we have had emergencies that happen, and it's, you know, schools have emergencies, and that where we need to reach you, we need that line open. So you might have done it last year,
but
or
it might
2
not
years
be the
ago.
parents that did it.
Yeah, and just make sure we're not blocked. Please make sure we're not blocked so we can reach you. Yeah, and make sure you go and update all your information in J Campus. Talk to the secretary, and regardless of what school your child goes to, make sure that all of your information is updated. Your email address, your current cell phone, your work number, because when administrators are trying to reach you in case something happens, we need to be able to get you, because we have to make decisions for your child.
Correct.
You know, and especially when it comes to medical stuff, we mandated reporters. We gotta get these kids taken care of, get them to the hospital, and you know, we've had instances where we've had to bring kids to the hospital, and we got to get in touch with parents. It is very important to have that updated information. So we talked about attendance. We talked about the SPS formula. Anything else you wanted to talk about that? Well, I really wanted, you talked about the growth and you talked about achieve. I really wanted to talk about the thrive. The thrive aspect of it, kind of.
So, and we do a really good job with that at Ponchatoula High School. That's where the kids are getting the dual enrollment credits, to where we're doing the internships, to where they can get work experience from different businesses and partnerships that we have in the community. We do a great job with the credentials in our CTE department. Help me out, because I'm new to the school. So I know we have the welding. I know
we have welding. We have ag.
The ag with the core going through that program. We have some customer service credentials, business or retail credentials to our business department. They're able to get some Adobe credentials.
We also have students that go to the independence.
And we have many students that go to the College and Career Center, where they're able to do pharmacy tech, medical assisting.
Just did a groundbreaking on the culinary
arts
building that's coming up.
Yeah, so we have all kinds of programs available on our campus, and for them to travel. Did I say the pharmacy tech one? I think I did. Yeah, so they have lots of programs there throughout the parish that we're able to do. And that's what helps us to hit that thrive category. And that, truth be told, that is what was holding Ponchatoula at a B, while the assessment was at an F, and not just us, many schools across the state.
Yeah. So you have to teach your Bible study in a little bit. But I want to get you out on just giving us your vision for where do you see Ponchatoula in 5 years, the high school?
In 5 years, I see us being an A on this new accountability model. I see us graduating our students who are able to graduate and stand on their own 2 feet, being independent of their parents, being able to have what they need to be able to go into the workforce or into school and still earn a living while they're there to get what needs to be done. I see us having a thriving community supporting the school. We do already, but to the next level. I ultimately see us having a parent-teacher organization working with us as we do these things done to get our school moving forward. I see us continuing to beautify our campus, our athletics department's thriving. They're already doing well, but we still can do more. Yeah. So I'm excited about the new possibilities as we move forward and we start this new year. It's a new and exciting time. It can come with some anxiety because I'm new from most of the people in the community, and even our school community is so large. I was there before, but I really only dealt with my particular area, ninth graders and those teachers on that staff. So a lot of the others have to get to know me and where we are. But as we go through and they see how things are laid out and my demeanor and my expectations, I do require us to do what needs to be done and do so with integrity and professionalism. But there's a pastor's heart in the way that we deal with all of those things. So I think as we continue to get that and we move forward, the future is bright for Ponchatoula High School.
Hey, positive actions, uplifting lives, sparking excellence. Dr. Keith Sanders, newly minted principal, Ponchatoula High School. Hey, thanks for being with us today.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for sitting with us today on the PAULSE Podcast, where positive actions uplift lives and spark excellence. We hope today's conversation encouraged you, challenged you, and gave you something you can apply to your own life. If you enjoyed this episode, please help us grow by sharing it with your family, friends, co-workers, and anyone who believes in making a positive difference. Be sure to follow PAULSE on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and RSS. And subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcast so you'll never miss a new episode. Remember, every great change begins with one positive action. Until next time, keep uplifting lives, keep pursuing excellence, and keep making a difference. I'm Paul D. Taylor Sr., and this has been the PAULSE Podcast. God bless, and we'll see you next time. Listen, learn, lead. Peace.